What's up, y'all? Welcome to KTV. In today's video, I'm going to share the experience that I've been having with our current landlord. Just give you a little bit of background. Last year, I wanted to move my family out of an apartment and into a townhouse. We have future plans of buying a house, but we wanted to rent a townhouse to be the, next step up until we did what we needed to do to purchase a house. So we were looking at different townhouses and we ended up finding one. And so when we went in there, all the lights were turned off, and the leasing agent at the time said, hey, the landlord just wanted to keep everything off because no one was currently living in the house. I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, okay. And so during our tour, we saw that the carpet was filthy and it was nasty, but the leasing agent, assured us that, hey, the landlord is planning to get the carpet, replaced. And we were like, okay, now y'all, this carpet was nasty. I mean, filthy. And I was told by August 1st, which was the date that we were going to move in, that would be fixed. And I was like, okay, cool. Just taking a look at the house. Besides the lighting and everything, we had really liked the house or whatever. So I told the leasing agent that I wanted to rent it out the house, and they sent me all the documentation like that night. And then I conducted a nightly transfer of $7,000, which was first month's rent and deposit, including a pet fee. Now, I know what y'all about to say. Why would I even send that amount of money over at that time of night? I want to say I sent the money like around 8 o'clock p.m. And it did dawn on me that it was kind of like weird to have a transaction like that. But in the current situation that we were in, we were going to different houses, and some people were kind of like, yeah, we want them, but we want to wait on other people, and we didn't have that type of time. So I get the lease, look over the lease and everything, we sign it, they get the money, everything's good to go. So I want to say this is probably like 3 days, maybe no, I want to say maybe like a week before we actually move in. So the landlord is telling me that he's going to get the carpet replaced before we move in. And I'm like, okay, cool. When I asked him on July 31st about the carpet, he said the carpet will be good to go before we move in. So we move in August 1st, the carpet's not good. He tells me that the carpet repairman says he'll be there in a couple days to replace the carpet. By this time, I'm heated. I think this is unprofessional. But you know what? At this point, they got my money. We're in an agreement. It's written, it's signed. There's not much I can do right now. So he tells me that I have 5 days to let him know about anything that's going on with the property. And so I shared with him some things. Number one, there was a strange noise coming from the toilet. I took a video and he said he was going to work on it. Cool. Some of the vents, air wasn't going through some of the vents in the house, and I sent him a picture of that, and he sends me a text saying that, hey, he's going to take care of it. So I also showed him that, hey, there's scratches all over the walls and things like that. He says he's going to take care of it. I said, okay, mind you now, this is text messages going back and forth. A lot of the light bulbs were blown out. He said that he was going to send some light bulbs my way so I can change it. I thought that was unprofessional. This is the second day of the lease, okay, the lease agreement. And at this point, I'm like severely frustrated. I want to say a few days after the fact, I tell him like, hey, the washing machine is not washing, any of our clothes. Like the water wasn't even coming down, y'all. Like the water wasn't even coming down. And at this point, I'm frustrated. So I'm asking him like, hey, you told me you did an inspection on the house. The washing machine isn't working. He was like, when I was there, the washing machine was working. I said, well, where's this inspection sheet? And he was like, did you see me do the inspection? And I was like, you know what? Okay. At this point, I'm realizing that this landlord is not a good one. And I was like, look, show me the paperwork. Show me the paperwork. If you did an inspection, where's the paperwork? He's like, did you see me do an inspection? I'm like, okay, this is already going to be a problem. He was telling me that I needed to put in a service call to get people out here to come take a look at it. Now, a service call costs $110, okay? And I fought that. I was like, we haven't even used the wash machine. I was like, you said that that you did an inspection. I said, how did you not know that the wash machine wasn't working? He's telling me I'll take care of it this time, and next time it'll be y'all responsibility. And I'm like, no, it will not. Okay, cool. So Before the people come out here to take a look at the washing machine, he tells me, hey, don't tell them that the washing machine has been broken. Don't tell them this, just let them know that, it just needs to be fixed. So at this point, it's real shady, and I'm really learning about this guy. Okay, cool. The people come out here and they come out and look at the washing machine, and the guy is saying that how long has this washing machine been like this? He was like, I gotta do X, Y, and Z. He was like, there's no way. He was like, this washing machine has been in bad condition. I mean, and I got all of it on video. I have all of it on video. Cool. So came to find out the whole entire washing machine had to be replaced. The whole entire washing machine had to be replaced. So the landlord paid the service fee and the washing machine was replaced. That was the end of that. So a couple weeks after that, I received a letter in the mail about there is a possible water leak in the house. And I'm thinking that it's because of the toilet, because it was making a really, really loud sound. And at night when nobody was using the water, there was water flowing through the pipes. Now, mind you now, I talked to the landlord about this on August 2nd. I moved in August 1st. I talked to him about August 2nd. I explained to the landlord that I had received a letter from the city about it being a possible water leakage in the house. Now, mind you now, I had already talked to him about that toilet. I had told him that was making loud noises. And I did also tell him that there was, we would hear water at night just going through the pipes when nobody was using it. I had told him this. So I told him how much the water bill was, and he was like, compared to that, that's nothing. It was a back and forth conversation to where he didn't feel the need to send somebody out here to check the toilet. Okay, cool. So I want to say end of September, we had got our first utility bill. My utility bill was over, I want to say at that point, almost $400. And I was like, something's not right. Okay, cool. I want to say October water bill was, I want to say around, I think over $600, water and sewage together. And so I ended up having to hire a plumber. I hired a plumber to come out here and to take a look to see what was causing the leakage. He immediately said it was that toilet. And I was absolutely heated. And so he sent me, the plumber that I hired, he sent me the paperwork showing pictures of how bad the toilet was inside. He was also showing me where the leakage was happening at. And I sent this information to my landlord, y'all. He sent somebody out to come look at it. And number one, it was an unlicensed plumber, okay? It was an unlicensed plumber. And I took a video of what the plumber was doing and came to find out the first time he came out, he didn't fix the problem. The second time he came out, he actually fixed the problem. At this point, I've just had it. Like, I've just absolutely had it. But that's not even the icing on the cake. So I don't know if y'all remember around December time on the East Coast, it was very, 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 very cold. Like, we really had some really extremely cold days. And we had problems with the heater. And so had somebody come out and they said, hey, this heater hasn't been maintenance in 5 years. And he was telling us all the different things that was going on with the heater, and the house was not heating up. The guy that came out here had concerns about carbon monoxide leaking into the place. And I explained this to my landlord, and he sent somebody out. Now, these people come out here and they take a look at the pipe. I think it's the pipe that's connected from the actual heating container, the air and heating container, all the way up going out the house. There was no, I want to call it air going out those pipes. Like, there was nothing going out that pipe. And the people that they send, they come in here, they look, and then they go in there and they check outside and they shake the thing, blah, 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 blah. A little air, a little fumes or whatever you want to call it start coming out, and they say everything's good. And I want to say we ended up having to pay $110 the first time. Then we had to call them the second time because it was literally like the heat was just not heating up the house. And this was like maybe 2 to 3 weeks afterwards. We called a second time and we had to pay another $110. Then it was a third time where the heat was not working. We did not call, we did not put in a service call. At this point, I am going back and forth with the landlord and say, hey, this is your property. You're responsible for making sure that air and heating is flowing through this property like it should. And he would not bend. He just stood on business. And it was a horrible, horrible experience for my family and I. We were literally during the times during December and January having little heaters around in each room just to stay warm. And this really affected me because, there are some really good landlords out there. There's also some really good tenants out there. And for a landlord of this magnitude to feel as though he has no responsibility for anything, for his property, to maintain his property, it really hit. Because as a tenant, I paid my rent on time. And I know you guys probably would say like, hey, you shouldn't have paid him rent, yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, all you have is your name. And with your name, there's credit. And I make sure that I take care of my responsibilities regardless of what's happening. I make sure I do what's right regardless of what's happening. And so after the heat and altercation, fast forward to the summer. We turn on the air conditioning and there's this clink noise in the air. Like it's just clink, and it's really loud. And so we're scared to, at this point, I turn it off. I turn off the central air, like the complete thing. Because every time we turn it on, it'd be this loud clink noise. So we called somebody out here again, and we ended up having to pay $110 for the service fee. The guy said that the part in the central air unit that goes like this was completely shattered. Y'all, he took it out. It's like some circular thing, and there was metal pieces from the body of the circular thing that was inside there, and it was making all that clinking noise. And he was like, this hasn't been maintenance in 5 years. Why hasn't the landlord did this? I'm like, that's a great question. And so, the company that came out to look at it, they talked to the landlord about it. The landlord paid the money to get it fixed. But it took so long because it was really hot during that time. And at this point, I was just completely speechless. Speechless to the point of just done, just over the situation, just completely over it. We end up paying for a lot of service calls that he was supposed to pay for. Now we're at the end of my lease term, and I sent him a notice 60 days prior and let him know that we're leaving the premises. So I'm going to say a couple of days ago, I received a text message from him about an HOA violation. Now, the HOA violation is saying that, hey, the front lawn needs to be mowed, it needs to be trimmed, shrubs need to be trimmed, and the shutters need to be painted. And so, he says, hey, can you fix this violation? Initially, I give him a thumbs up. I did, y'all. And then I told him, hey, we taking care of the lawn. I said, can you get these shutters painted? I said, because we didn't do anything. We didn't damage these shutters. They were like this when we moved in. He's like, okay, send me a picture of the shutter. I said, well, you're coming over here on July 19th to show people the property. You're more than welcome to take care of the shutters, or you can, you're more than welcome to take a picture of the shutters. At that time, I'm out and about and I'm taking care of my own things, handling my responsibilities, doing what I need to do. So I'm not home. And so he sent me that text one time, and the next day he sent it again. I said, I am busy. I said, since you're going to be over here July 19th to show the property to a possible tenant, I said, you're more than welcome to take a picture of the shutter. And he's like, the HOA is your responsibility, and you're already there. You should just take a picture and send it to me. And I told him, I was like, we can go to court over this, because I got a lot to say. We can go to court. He was like, fine, we'll go to court. I said, okay, cool. And so this is where I'm at, y'all, with him. And that's where it's going. And I'm telling you guys this because I don't want nobody to experience this. Like, I really don't want any of y'all to experience this. This was a bad experience for me, and it was my first time living in someone else's home, renting out someone else's home. I want to say, y'all be careful out there. If you do decide to rent, make sure you get a chance to talk to the landlord one-on-one. And yeah, I wish you guys all the best out there. If you could possibly just get your own home, stay in an apartment for a couple of years, save up, and buy you a house and it's your own home, please do so, because that's what I intend to do. Y'all be blessed.